Texas and Bros, Michigan Sports Network, Ryan Elke, Ben Glaze, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Join us now. A graduate assistant under John Beeline, played his college ball at Concordia, now patrolling the sidelines for the Ohio University Bobcats. He's up early in the land in Cleveland. Our good friend, the coach, Kyle Barlow. Coach Barlow, my friend, good morning to you. What are you up to right now? Anything big? What do we got? Any plans for today?
Oh, man, got a lot of plans, baby. We're bringing the juice today. This is championship weekend all across college basketball, live from, like you said, live from the land in downtown Cleveland, man. Renaissance Hotel. We're ready to rock and roll, man. We're locked and loaded. No sleep. You have plenty of time to sleep in April. There's no sleeping in March.
What happened to you yesterday, then?
What do you mean?
Well, you were going to join us yesterday. What happened? You said no sleep.
Oh, yeah, I was definitely asleep when you texted me at that time. That was at night, not in the morning. I thought we were referring to the mornings, Bellino. I thought we were talking about mornings, man.
Early bird gets the worm, baby. Or something like that. So this is a special time around college basketball. We just went through literally every game that was played in the last segment from yesterday. And, as you guys take a look, and, obviously you guys have Western Michigan later on today. It's a big game. We got a lot of friends in Kalamazoo that listen to this program. So I'm not going to ask you to tip your hand or anything of that nature. But what's the schedule like, because you're the late game today? Walk us through what that's like to be. If you're the early game, I feel like it's business as usual. If you're Toledo or Kent State, you wake up early, you have breakfast, you go over, get a shoot around in, and it's just kind of like the game's happening right away. But you guys got to wait all day. So what's that like?
Yeah, I don't even think, if you're the early game, I don't even think you do shoot around. I think they're up right now eating pregame meal. You might do a little film, might do a little last minute walkthrough, but then you're gone, man. Like it's game day, which I'd almost rather have, because it's like, all right, let's get it. Like, we've been doing it for the last 3 days. Some teams been doing it for 4 days straight with prep after the Friday game. So they're locked and loaded. They're ready to go, which I kind of like. For us, it's more of the, like you said, the waiting game. And somebody told me last night, they said, well, that's like normal routine for you because, 7 p.m., you're used to playing at 7. And I said, well, that's a good point. But there's just so much excitement because now, like, we're going to do a shoot-around at a nearby university. We're going to do, our normal pregame meal, our normal breakfast, our normal kind of routine. But it's a lot of waiting around. And here's the part why I don't like the late game is because by the time you're done, it's 10, 11 p.m., and if you win, hopefully you win, now you're on to the next team, where if you play at 11 a.m., you're on to the next team by 2, 3 p.m. You're getting all your stuff done. You're getting yourself a good night's sleep. I know I said we don't sleep in March, but, geez, we all like to get a few hours of shut-eye. For us, it's kind of the calm before the storm today and last night because, we have an idea if you win who you play. There's 2 teams, but you don't want to fully delve into them until you really know. So, yeah, it's good, but then it's a little bad because of the turnaround. But it's no time to complain. You could be a lot of teams right now. You could be home and hitting the transfer portal instead of playing for a championship. So,
are you guys going to be at Cleveland State, John Carroll? Where are you guys going to be at today?
I think we're at Cleveland State today. I think that's where the itinerary said.
Okay.
I just show up early, Bellino, and I stay there, and I work. I put my head down. I follow the crowd. I go wherever the crowd goes, man.
Just make sure you're on the bus at the right time, right?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'll just get on the bus early and go wherever it takes us. That's kind of how we do it this time of year. Put your head down, keep working. Hopefully you get a little bit of ball luck. What do they call it in hockey? They call it puck luck.
Puck luck, yeah.
Hopefully you get a little basketball luck and ref luck, whistle luck. That never hurt either.
No, we're all about that. I mean, look, you get a couple friendly calls. I mean, that's no one's gonna be complaining about that. You played Western earlier in the year at their place in Waldo's World and lost by 281 to 79. What has changed for both clubs going into tonight's game? How is your team different than where you guys were at during that game, and how has Western changed?
Yeah, for us, we started the year 1-3 in MAC play, and we're a below 500 team at that point, and I think we're still trying to find our identity. And since after that Western game, and then I think we lost to BG right after that to go to 1-3. We were 12-2 down the stretch, and for us, I think it was finding our rotation and our lineups. You know, we had an unfortunate injury against Western to our leading scorer, leading rebounder. But then, you know, that paved the path for our fifth-year senior, Miles Brown, to come back to the starting lineup. Because he was injured early in the year. And then I think our team really found our footing. I think our team got a lot better defensively throughout that time. We're a smaller team, where Western's a bigger team, so I think the emphasis on rebounding, getting that initial stop. You know, we all know how important that initial stop is, right? Sometimes your best shot is off your first shot, and I think that's kind of how Western does it. Similar to Michigan State, with an emphasis on rebounding. Obviously, Coach Stevens coming from Michigan State, so you see a little identity there. But for us, I think it was just finding our identity and finding our defensive cohesiveness. Offensively, you know, Western loves to push the pace. You know, similar, like I said, similar to Michigan State, they'll get the ball in quick. They'll attack you on the sidelines. They'll attack you at the initial point of attack. And then if they don't have it, they're going to try and throw the ball in the post. And, you know, our center was third team all-league. And every team has a game plan for him because he's not a traditional center. You know, he's a pick-and-pop guy. So I think, you know, most teams have to do something a little different than they did than their base defense. So I think that's kind of, well, it'll be interesting to see because every team treats it differently. But it's easy to see how Western does it because their base defense is really good. They really are in the gaps. They really are physical. They try and shrink the court on you. So for us, the difference, to go back, the difference I think is just our identity. For Western Michigan, I think it's when they're healthy. You know, Artis White is a big part of that team. And when he's out, they're a different team for when he's in. So and he's healthy now. And I think they had to win 2 out of the last 4 or 4 out of the last 6 to get in, and they did it. So that's the type of team that's dangerous in March, that's kind of coming in here with nothing to lose and on a hot streak, man. So you got to give credit to them and their staff for, you know, number one, getting here because, you know, we talked about last week in college basketball, the conference tournament setups. Like in the MAC, there's no advantage. There's no home court. There's no buys. There's no anything. It's, look, all you got to do is be a top 8 team, get to Cleveland, and every team has to win 3 games in 3 days.
Be Artis White, right? You know what's really interesting about your club, at least that I've found as I've been following from a distance, is you'll have a guy like Jalen Hunter that will go nuts one night. You'll get Miles Brown who will come in and have a big night. You'll get Sharif Mitchell, who's had a couple of really nice games. He and AJ Clayton went for 23 against Buffalo, and then Sharif and Aiden Hadaway get 20 points apiece. You guys seem to have different nights where at any point anybody can basically go off. And for me, when I look at a team that has dispersed scoring, that has a lot of changing with game highs and points, to me from the outside looking in, if you're not able to watch a game, that shows to me that this team isn't worried about who's doing what. It's we're doing what. Yeah, and our team is kind of sum of the parts, right? Rather than, any big 20-point scorer, and then a bunch of role players. I think we have a different guy, like you just mentioned, who can step up every night. And I think that's hard to prepare for because, a lot of teams, they have a go-to defender, and they put that defender on their best player. So for us, I think it kind of rotates on a nightly basis. But, when it comes to award season, which we just went through, I think sometimes that might hurt our team, finishing tied for second in the league and really not getting much love in the – let's not call it all league anymore. Let's just call it all stats because that's what people just want to look at, stats. And it's disappointing because you think that coaches would watch film. And you Did we lose him?
When you – what's that?
I think we lost him.
No. Oh, did you?
Ben, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. He's still there.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Oh, boy. I think we lost him.
Can you hear me now?
We had him. He was giving us good intel there. Not even all league, just all stats. And now I can't even hear him.
We can hear him on our end.
I'm just here in oblivion. Okay. I don't even know if Ben can hear me at this point. Ben Glaze.
Yeah, I can hear you.
He might be there. You might be able to hear me right now. This is the danger of radio, because you might be able to hear me, but I can't hear anything. Just went kaput. That's okay. If this show had to go down so that Ohio and the Bobcats may live, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So I can't hear Coach Barlow. It is all stats. But I go off, King, go off. Like they're just watching box scores. So well, how is your team? How is your team sitting there at third in the conference, and you're not getting on any of the all league love? I mean, what the hell is that? Barlow's gone. Barlow disappeared. You can hear me. He just left. Did Kyle Barlow sabotage the program? That's what. There we go. Okay, now I got something.
I called back.
Oh, great.
I called back.
That's great. No, look at you committed to it. I'm like, I don't know what is going on, but I'm telling you this right now. You just don't want to say anything foul because you never know who could hear you out there in radio land. But you're back, so it's all. Yeah, it's all stats. We'll do it live. It's all stats. Yeah. They're not watching the actual games, Coach. They're just looking at box scores.
Well, and when you look at our team, we don't have a guy that even averaged 15 plus points a game, but to finish tied for second in the league, I think you got some good players, right? So it's kind of disappointing, like what you said. It could be a different guy every night. And I think that's really part of what makes us good. But then also you want those guys to get individual recognition because they're working so hard. So, yeah, it's a little disappointing because, I thought we watched film. I thought it was America. You know what I mean? I thought we're in America here. I thought we watched film, not just went off stats and the box score, baby. You know what I'm talking about? But, I'm just glad to be on live again. I know you kind of censored me there, and thank you because I was going on a tirade, a rant with not so kind words. So thank you for censoring me.
Well, that's the thing. You were censored to me, but apparently everybody else could hear you in radio world. So it was just I was just floating around in the Netherlands, I guess. Your team.
You should have heard what I said about you.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Some sort of Mickey Mouse type connection. I don't know what was it. I can't repeat what I said, so I'm glad.
Oh, not the Mickey Mouse. Your team is 10-1 in your last 11 conference games, winners of 6 in a row. I know that this is different because it's a one-and-done tournament. It's single elimination, and that's what makes the NCAA either so great or so heartbreaking all at the same time. But your guys got to be, and the one loss was by 2 points on the road, and I'm sure that we could dive into some aggravation in that game by itself. But your guys got to be feeling really good about where you're at. You want to be going into conference tournament time with a head of steam.
Yeah, and I think they do feel good. But, as we kind of talked about before in this conference tournament, whether you're the 1 seed or the 8 seed, all you got to do is win 3 straight games. Not all you got to do, but everybody has to win 3 straight games to win the tournament. There's no advantage. There's no inherent advantage to being the 2 seed or the 1 seed or the 3 seed. So for us, yeah, I think our guys, they're confident, but they've always kind of been confident, and that's kind of what you want. You want your guys believing. But again, I don't know if momentum carries over this time of year. I really don't. People say it all the time. Well, you're the hottest team in the league, and that's what you want to be coming in. And it's like, no, we want to be the hottest team in these 3 days and this weekend, not the weekend before, not the 2 weeks before. So it's kind of like you kind of got to throw it all out and know that Western's coming in with not a lot of pressure on them, right? They're not just happy to be here because I know they want to come here and win, but they had to win their last game of the year to ensure that they were going to be here for sure. So, they've already kind of played a high pressure game where we, kind of have been locked into this top 4 seed for the past couple of weeks. So yeah, it's just interesting when you think about that. Like, you do want to be playing well coming in, but I think we both know how little it means when that ball is tipped tonight at 6:30 or whenever we tip off.
What do we do with Michigan basketball having the worst year arguably in the program's history?
Oh boy. Just, you know what? Just keep going on Twitter. Keep typing in Rose Bowl. Keep typing in Washington versus Michigan. Just keep watching those. So that's what we do. That's what we do. You burn the tape, right? You burn the tape. You watch something that makes you happy. Go back on YouTube TV. Watch the alternate broadcast. Watch the what's-his-name broadcast of either the Rose Bowl or National Championship game. The punter, I forget his name now, McAfee. Watch that broadcast. That's what you do. You just bury your head into something else.
Is there anything worse than apathy in sports?
Oof.
Because that's where I feel like Michigan was at. I mean, the Maze Rage didn't even show up.
Yeah. the pat on the back of, you guys are doing a good job. Like you said, the apathy, like, hey, hang in there, sport. Yeah, no, there's nothing worse than that one.
We got orange slices.
Yeah, you guys play hard. That as a coach, you never really want to hear that, because that just means you got your butts kicked. Like, hey, coach, you guys are playing hard, man. You got your guys playing hard. Like, stop it. Stop it. Don't do that to me. Don't tell me how good we are. We just lost. You beat us. I know you're just being nice. You're not being a bleep hole, but come on, man.
Well, some coaches are nice after games. Some people are just inherently bleep holes. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, just kind of is what it is. You can deal with these people.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Always some of that. Yeah, I just I look statistically, just historically awful, and then to finish the year, and then last night just really looked like the team didn't even want to be there. They had no answer for Penn State. I mean, no answer for Penn State. Think about what I just said. Like, it's just the whole thing is just preposterous to me.
Yeah, you're not talking about 97 Penn State football with Curtis Enos. You're not talking about McLaughlin or whatever that quarterback's name is, right? We're talking about, Penn State basketball, who's been, good in the past few years. They get their guys to play hard, to go back to my
well, then that one coach, what was that guy who choked the player? Or what did he do? He shoved a player or something, got fired over it? Who was that guy? You know what I'm talking about, right?
State?
Yeah, he coached at Penn State. He coached at Penn State. He looked like a gunnery sergeant from the Marine Corps.
I can't remember.
They were doing well under him, and then they had to fire him, and then everything went to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah, I know.
Sometimes you got to choke somebody. Like, look, let's be honest. They were playing better when they had the coach that people feared.
Fear's a powerful motivator. Ask Bobby Knight. He was great at it. You watch Coach Izzo's post-game press conference after Indiana, and he's doing the whole, I'm sick of, kind of this generation, right, and not being able to call guys out. And he's sitting there in Assembly Hall, and he's like, you know what, but this was the origin. This is the mecca of a coach who would coach his guys hard and call his guys out. So maybe I will call guys out here. I thought it was kind of funny. I enjoy listening to him in post-game.
Ryan says Pat Chambers.
Yeah, Pat Chambers. Yeah. I didn't think he choked a guy, but yeah, now he's at Florida.
Didn't he shove somebody? Isn't that why he got fired? Because he shoved a player and said it was like during a game, and everybody made a big stink out of it because he grabbed his player, and it's like, and did the player have it coming?
Yeah, it might have been that. But as we all know, if they were going to NCAA tournaments and going to the Sweet 16, everybody like, wow, that's great motivation. That's great coaching. Way to bump them, way to grab them, right? Great job. This is what you got to do at Penn State to set yourself apart. It's all about winning. The fact that he was losing and did that more so is probably why he's at Florida Gulf Coast right now, which not a bad place to be either.
No,
it's sterile Florida.
Beautiful, beautiful campus, I've heard there, FGCU. And look, like, as long as you're winning, you could slap whoever you want. The minute you start losing, people start looking at that slap again, like a little sideways. He is the coach, Kyle Barlow. He's ready to slap some people at 6:30 tonight. And we're going to be dialed in over on ESPN+. Coach Barlow, as always, thank you so much, and best of luck to you tonight, partner.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Talk to you tomorrow. Same time, same place. We'll be back, hour 3 next.